Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. It's week 11, season 2, 2024. We're in the Rave Formula Ford, the FF1600 at Snetterton for the 200 layout this week. It's the second to last week of the season. It's a new track once again in what has probably been the most exciting V and Formula Ford season that we've had in probably the last couple of years. So, let's get started. If you're new to the channel, thanks, welcome. We do one run through from the cockpit where I slow it all down, then we do it full speed from the chase cam, and then full speed again from the cockpit with the driving line on. See you in a second. Okay, so all usual stuff. I loaded this test session from the FF1600 schedule so that the track temp and air temp and track conditions are going to be the same that we're racing next week. So, we're starting the lap over on the left-hand side, in 4th gear, giving it full beans. Also worth mentioning, if you do have the wind with you or against you on either of the straights, then it will make you faster or slower than me on the straights. I've actually got a northerly here, so it's a crosswind for me on both the straights. I don't know what that actually does. I only loaded in a couple of sessions. Both times it was a northerly wind. Anyway, we're over on the left-hand side, and what we're looking for is about 3 car lengths before the 1 marker on the left that we're just coming up to here. As we get there, we're going to brake up to about 60%. We're going to trail it off very quickly, and then we're going to start getting back on the gas. I drop it down to 3rd gear. And there's 2 apexes on turn 1 here. So as you can see, we're doing a nice big cut on the first one, getting back up to full throttle. And then we're looking to aim again inside of the corner here. Your car's going to understeer wide. You're going to be still on full throttle. Now you can change up to 4th before turn 2, the little hairpin here. I leave it in 3rd gear because I didn't notice any speed improvement by changing up to 4th. And it means you've only got 2 gear changes down rather than 3. So next sign, again, we're looking on the left here. You've got the 1 marker. On the right, you've got Wilson. Again, once we're about 2 or 3 car lengths just before that, I'm going to start braking really hard. I've got my brake bias at 53%, and I'm going to brake up to 100%. Because I've got my brake bias so far back, the car's actually nicely settled. Even at 100% braking, I'm not locking up. This is a slippy corner, especially at this track temp. So we're going to continue to hold it in a straight line, getting all the speed washed off. And then as I start looking to go down towards the apex, I'm going to trail it off really slowly, drop it down to 2nd gear, drop it down to 1st gear. And now I'm fully back on the throttle nice and early. What we want to do is we want to cut the inside of 3 here. There's no off track where I am any further to the left than you might. Your car's going to get a little bit of wheel spin coming off this, but that's fine. Up to 2nd gear. Up to 3rd gear. And now for one of the trickiest corners on the schedule. I always seem to say that every week. So turn 4 and 5. It's very tricky. So, right, what we're looking for is, just as we get past the Brundle sign on the left here, we're going to start turning towards the left. And then as we start turning, and we've got some there, we're going to do a big lift. I'm going to brake initially up to about 46%, trail that off to the apex of 4 here. And as you can see, I'm now putting a little bit of right hand down on because the car's wanting to slide out, the rear's wanting to kick out. So I get down to the apex. I should put a little bit of maintenance throttle on because I'm going to drop it down to 3rd gear. And now I'm going to try and brake and slide the car through turn 5 Nelson. This is very tricky. So braking quite hard up to 80% here. I'm now dropping it to 2nd gear. I'm trailing it off. And as you can see, I'm getting a load of understeer and I'm about to get a ton of oversteer. And to combat that oversteer, as I come off the apex here, I'm back to full throttle in 2nd gear. I've seen people do this in 1st gear. For me, 2nd gear seems to work far more consistently. And believe me, in this race, it's not going to be outright pace that wins you the day. It's going to be the consistency of being able to make it through this corner 7, 8 times. Up to 3rd gear. And for this next turn 6, what we're looking to do is cut it. But just before we get to the apex here, once we're midway across the track, we're going to do a big lift down to about 30%, 40%, cutting the corner nicely. And now we're back up to 100% throttle in 3rd gear. The car's going to swing out to the left-hand side. Make sure that you don't go out any further than I am here. The AstroTurf is fine. The grass is death. Now we're going to hold it in third gear, and now we're just going to feather the throttle throughout this long turn 7 here, Coram. So we're just feathering the throttle, and we're wanting to get right over to the right hand side so that we can attack the final turn, Murray's turn 8. So once we're straightened up, as you can see, I'm going to brake really quite hard. Now, what you'll notice here is I actually turned too far to the left. I'm turning inside the curb, and I'm going to hit it. So I do a little bit of right hand down very briefly just to get the car moving back over to the right hand side before I then actually complete the turn, drop it down to second gear, and at the apex I get back on the throttle at 100%. So just going to replay that and show you it in full speed. It was a slight error, but it only cost me a couple of hundredths because I was able to correct it quite quickly. So breaking it off, back on the throttle, exit wide, up to third gear, and over and across the line in a, what's that, 1:15.517. And then park up. So to put that some context, on Garage 61 there are quite a lot of fast times, but that is because there have been several league races here that have taken place that had open setup. This is one of the fastest ones that I've seen that does have fixed setup, and I think the VRS, when I just checked, it was a 1:15.8. So if you are in a race doing anything under 1:15.8, it should be very competitive. Right, now we'll run it through full speed from the chase cam. Righty-ho, let's start. Full speed. So over to the left-hand side, looking for just before the 1 marker on the left, braking up to about 60%, trail it off, down to third, get back on the throttle, 100%, cut the next corner, exit wide, leave it in third. Again, same thing here, braking really hard, trail it off all the way down to the apex, get back on the throttle, a little bit of oversteer. This is where, again, all the passing is going to be done here and on the main straight, but you're going to have to get the pass completed before you get to the Snetterton bridge here. So turning across, braking once, down to third gear, braking hard, into second gear, let it kick out, fully on the throttle in second gear, looking to cut the corner of 6 in third gear, big lift, back on the throttle, exit wide, going in full beams here through the start. Now you're feathering the car all the way around, trying to get it set up nicely for the final corner, braking hard in a straight line, down to second, don't hit the sausage curb, exit wide, and over and across the line. Right, final time with the driving line on from the cockpit. Okay, anyone still with me? Here we go. It was a very busy corner. Thanks for watching. I've been Sambo iRacing. I'll see you guys again in the week for VIR North and the final track of the season. Cheers.